Today on People Now, Tiffany Haddish in a Meghan Markle-inspired wedding dress, Chris Pratt's inspiring speech, and so much more from the MTV Movie and TV Awards in case you missed it.
The feud heats up between Tommy Lee and his son Brandon. We'll tell you how much Tommy claims he paid for his son's rehab.
We have a rundown of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's plans for their upcoming trip to Ireland.
If anyone else can't be honest with me from here on out, then I don't want you here.
Is Becca getting any closer to finding love? Bachelorette superfan Brandi Cyrus joins us to recap last night's shenanigans.
Plus, country radio superstar Bobby Bones is here with his brand new book.
It's live today on People Now.
Let's go! Very enthusiastic there.
Yeah, a little too much.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to People Now. Look, the red carpet was buzzing with fashionable celebs last night at the MTV Awards. Very excited stuff. Like, they were hosted by Tiffany Haddish, highlighted the best of the best in movies and TV.
Yeah, the awards had some major shocks and funny moments, but we would be lying if we said our eyes weren't glued to the impressive outfits on the scene. We want to know who rocked your favorite red carpet look at the MTV Awards.
All right, let us know by tweeting your favorite look with the hashtag PeopleNow. We're excited to get the results, but first, here's what you need to know and what's trending today. Here comes the bride, all dressed in white once again. Meghan Markle made her debut at Royal Ascot on Tuesday in an elegant white ensemble from her wedding dress designer, Givenchy. Now, the white dress features button detailing, a black belt, was paired with a matching hat. The whole thing looked great. Her white dress is especially fitting considering Tuesday is the 1-month anniversary of her and Prince Harry's royal wedding. Time flies when you're in love, obviously, when we're all watching closely. Harry joined Meghan for all the festivities of the iconic horse racing event, looking dapper in his traditional tailcoat and top hat. After having lunch with the Queen, the couple took a carriage ride onto the course for opening day. Now, the Queen, who has always been passionate about horses, brings members of her family with her on all 5 days of the horse race event. It's believed to be the first time that Meghan has been to the famous races, so congrats to her for the new experience. More news from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle today. They made a historic trip to Northern Ireland in March, and now looks like they're headed to Ireland as well. Kensington Palace announced on Tuesday that the newlyweds will be visiting Ireland's capital city, Dublin, on July 11th and 12th, and it sounds like it'll be a fun one. There's talk that they're going to even make a trip to Guinness Storehouse while they're there, which showcases the brewing heritage of the city's most famous drink. Now, Meghan actually visited Dublin back in 2013 and learned the art of pouring a pint at Guinness Storehouse. She should feel right at home if they do stop off there. It's familiar territory. Now, in the statement, the palace went on to say that Harry and Meghan are, quote, looking forward to learning more about Ireland's history and experiencing its rich culture, as well as meeting the people who are shaping the country's future. This trip will come just a few months before their scheduled tour of Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Tonga this fall, so they've definitely got a full year ahead. Now watch this.
My car totally derailed, and I was hanging up in the air. Another one of my co-workers, I watched her fall to the ground.
Such a wild, scary story. Melissa Collins, one of the passengers aboard the roller coaster that derailed in Florida last week, is opening up about the terrifying experience, telling the Today Show that she feared for her life. Collins was riding the Sandblaster coaster at the Mardi Gras Fun Center on the Daytona Beach boardwalk when the front car she was in went flying off its tracks, sending 2 people, including her coworker Amanda, falling 34 feet to the ground. Collins telling Today, quote, "I couldn't breathe. I really thought I was going to die. I was in so much pain and hurting." According to Today, Collins, a mother of 2 from Kentucky, was left with 9 broken ribs, spinal injuries, and a fractured collarbone that required surgery. She was one of 6 people transported to the hospital after the accident. She remains in Florida, where she's being treated for her injuries, and said all that she wants to do is get back home to her kids. Now, NBC News reported that the Sandblaster coaster had been shut down a month prior for its history of maintenance problems, including damaged cars and excessive corrosion. It had reopened on Thursday after a state inspection only hours before it derailed. Guys, the public feud between Tommy Lee and his son Brandon Lee continued on Monday, a day after the 22-year-old shared a video of his father seemingly passed out on the ground wearing just a black t-shirt and underwear. Tommy opening up about their estranged relationship on social media, claiming that he was actually knocked unconscious in his son's post, and alleging that Brandon was the one with the substance abuse problem. Tommy Lee writing on Twitter, quote, "Rehab for son, $130,000. Party for son's 21st birthday last year, $40,000. Medical bills after son knocks his father unconscious and uses alcoholism as scapegoat, $10,000. Son acting like a victim on social media on Father's Day, priceless." Adding, "I'm out, mic drop." And points for style there on the tweet. Tommy and Brandon's father-son relationship has long been on rocky terms, stemming back to March when an alleged physical altercation between the two left the rocker with a bloody lip. Now on Sunday, the drama appeared to be reignited when Tommy shared an Instagram post in honor of Father's Day, posting one photo of him with his own father and a throwback picture of him with one of his sons, captioning it in part, "Sometimes I feel like I failed as a father because my kids don't know the value of things." Brandon replied by sharing a screenshot of his dad's post on his own Instagram account, claiming he was an absent father. A rep for Brandon declined to comment on Tommy's claims. You can check out people.com for all the latest on that story. All right, Bachelor Nation superfans, remember last week when David fell off his bunk bed and had to be rushed to the hospital? It was very dramatic on the show. He finally revealed his battle wounds during Monday night's episode. Watch this.
And he looked 10 times worse than I thought he was going to look.
Got your back. Nice shit.
He's probably thinking he can save some face, but little does he know he has no face to save. Did anyone give him a mirror? I'm assuming not.
Man, Jordan, cut the guy a break. David's face was a bit bruised from his top bunk fall, but don't worry, everyone. He assured Becca that he'd only be sleeping on the bottom bunk from now on. Sounds like a good idea. And our Bachelorette seemed to appreciate his brave sacrifice since he was given a rose before the official ceremony. As he proudly walked off to bed, his broken nose served as a badge of honor to the other guys. Chris R. telling the cameras, quote, "David's a fighter. What he endured, we wish upon no one." I know you can't get enough Bachelorette, so superfan Brandi Cyrus will be joining us live in just a few minutes. We are talking fake love confessions, bombshell moments, and plenty more drama. Stick around for that. Andrea, I know you're very excited.
I know, and I actually love Jordan, so I can't wait to talk about it. I don't think he's a villain. I think he's hilarious.
No, he is.
We'll
Hilarious
talk about
villain.
it later. We are kicking off Star Treks with one famous mama who is setting the record straight about her body. Khloé Kardashian got real after reports surfaced about her post-baby diet. She posted the following tweets on Twitter, writing, quote, "I truly dislike when people report I've lost a tremendous amount of weight in a short amount of time, or when people claim I'm doing these ridiculous diets. It's really setting the wrong tone. I believe in making lifestyle changes when it comes to my food." Now, she followed up with a second tweet adding, "Dieting is great, but dieting doesn't typically create long-lasting results. I also believe that working out is so incredibly healthy and should be done to each individual's own rhythm of life. There's no one-size-fits-all when health and fitness." Now, Coco has been a big advocate for healthy living and frequently posts photos and videos of her workouts. The new mom recently returned home to LA with baby True, so I'm sure we'll see some more snaps of her hitting the gym, maybe even with sister Courtney. All right, now watch this.
I had such a crush. Well, Legolas has a crush, and then I had the biggest
so it was
crush on
it was
you.
your character?
No, no, it was me. I was like, it's Legolas, he's got the crush.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
This
is actually a dating show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like Katy Perry isn't the only Kate Orlando Bloom has been crushing on. The actor joined Lord of the Rings co-star Cate Blanchett during Monday night's London taping of The Late Late Show with James Corden. Now, Orlando noted he was about 21 years old at the time and was especially intimidated by the blonde star. Now, Kate admitted the crush wasn't exactly mutual since she didn't even realize Orlando was in the movie. Uh-oh. She explains, "I didn't recognize you because the first time I saw you, you had hair like Fabio and blue eyes. And then I just saw you, this really cute guy out of drama school who was at all the parties, and I didn't put two and two together." I don't know, Kate. I'm pretty sure it's impossible to forget that face, but hey, it happens to the best of us. And those are your Star Treks for today.
All right, guys, stay with us. We have radio host and author Bobby Bones here live talking about his new book, American Idol, and so much more. Plus, awkward dates, bombshell confessions, and all the drama you can want. Of course, we're breaking down Monday night's Bachelorette with the one and only Brandi Cyrus in just a bit.
All right, let's check in on our question of the day. We've been asking about your favorite red carpet looks at the MTV Awards.
Lauren says, Kim Kardashian, baby, can't go wrong. A sparkly crop top.
Can't. Another Twitter user says, Zendaya, she always looks bomb.
Look, there were so many good looks, and we're going to talk about more of them. But guys, we want to keep you to keep tweeting us your favorite MTV Awards looks. But now we move on to this. All right, guys, we've been asking you throughout the show who rocked your favorite looks on the MTV Movie and TV Awards red carpet. Now we want to share some of our favorites from the night.
Yeah, so first up has to be Zendaya. Now, this dress looks like it was actually just poured onto her. It fits like a glove.
Yeah, it's a gown by August Getty. She paired that with slick back hair, oversized gold earrings. She looks gorgeous.
I mean, I want to raid her closet at all times. Her personal style is the perfect mix of cool and classic.
All right, now we move on to these edgy ensembles from Alison Brie and Mandy Moore.
Yeah, so these are both a little less proper and sleek than we're used to seeing on these two, and I gotta say that I am loving it. Now, Alison is in a Sandy Liang dress. That sheer skirt is everything.
And Mandy's body armor chic dress is by Carolina Herrera, very fierce as well.
Yeah, well, we can't forget to give the guys a little love. Black Panther co-stars Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman definitely top my list. They're also very handsome.
Yeah, they are looking good. They are not afraid of mixing up prints and patterns. Leave the boring suits at home. This is how it's done, and this is the right event to do it.
Okay, but can we talk about Gaga? Now, she shocked everyone when she made a surprise appearance during the ceremony.
She wore a fierce sculpted red bodice with a long sheer black skirt to accept her award for Best Music Documentary, 5'2". I can't stop saying fierce because all these ladies look fierce.
I'm saying a lot.
Let's be real.
But in her acceptance speech, Gaga actually revealed that she recently found out she's actually 5'3"3/4". Doesn't have the same ring to it as 5'2".
It doesn't really matter so much, but either way, she went on to present the award for Best Movie as well. And here are her words. Black Mother Bleeping Panther. I kind of edited it. She totally killed it the whole night. Loved her.
But it was the night's host, Tiffany Haddish, who might have stolen the show for us when she appeared on stage wearing this homage to Meghan Markle's wedding dress.
So who wore it better? That's the question. Can't decide, honestly. Obviously, Meghan looked amazing. Tiffany did too.
Both look amazing and great. Not a competition.
Look, Tiffany did such a great job all night long. She was hilarious and the perfect host for the show.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys, now watch this.
To say it. And I'm so pissed because I only am asking for honesty from you guys. That's all I want. And to not get that, I feel so disrespected, and I'm so upset with him. But if anyone else can't be honest with me from here on out, then I don't want you here.
Well, if you're not here for the right reasons, it is time to get the heck out. Becca is not messing around in this week's episode of The Bachelorette. Here to help break things down is Bachelor Nation superfan Brandi Cyrus. Hello, Brandi. Thanks for joining us.
I missed y'all.
I know, we missed you too.
It's good to see you. All right, so this is one of the biggest moments of the episode. Jean Blanc tells Becca that he's fallen in love with her, then takes it all back after she sends him home. Let's take a quick look at that cringeworthy moment, then we'll talk about it. Watch.
I wanted to let you know that I'm truly falling for you, and I'm falling in love with you. And I'm just putting it out there.
You know, I don't know your relationship history, and you say that you haven't been feeling like this in a while, and so I don't know what it is that brought it on so quickly.
It's just so awkward. It's painful. Brandi, what was going through your head throughout this entire conversation? Why would he think this was a good idea?
That's the golden question, because not only, is he just struggling for anything to keep him on the show at this point, and then after she tells him to leave, he says he didn't mean it. Like, I truly don't understand what he thought he had to gain.
He was so mad that he had given her that custom-made perfume, and that she immediately turned it. He just wanted it back so badly. Anyway, he tells Becca that he only said all that because he thought that's what she wanted to hear. Were you surprised that was what he said and that he went about it that way?
I was completely surprised because, there's a lot of things on this show that you think in your head that you should never say out loud, and this is like number one. You cannot tell someone that's what they wanted to hear, so that's what you said but didn't mean.
Yeah. Another big bombshell moment happened during Becca's one-on-one with Garrett. Let's take a look at this.
We were together for a year and a half before we got engaged, and then we were engaged for a year, and then we got married, and after 2 months of marriage, we got divorced. And I think that I fell in love with and got married to the wrong person.
All right, so Garrett has been married and divorced. Brandi, Becca seemed to totally trust his side of the story and how it all happened. Is she being naive? What do you think?
You know what? I don't think so, because Garrett has always come off really confident and outgoing, and this is the first time during the show I've seen him be vulnerable and a little bit nervous. And to me, everything he said came off pretty authentic.
I feel like watching it was kind of like, it felt like the tip of the iceberg a little bit. Do you think she needs to maybe ask more questions about the relationship? I don't know. It seems like she's kind of giving it.
She's always just going to get his side, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, unless you get to talk to the other person.
Right.
That's true. But it is early enough in the season that she has time to dig a little bit before she really decides on him. But I think he'll stick around.
And let's just be honest, guaranteed the producers already have this woman lined up and ready to come on the show.
Yeah, maybe.
and sabotage him one-on-one date down the road. Anyway.
The thing about Garrett, though, he's already raised some red flags after fans noticed his activity. Becca really seems to like him, even compared him to her dad. So what do you think? Does Garrett have the potential to go all the way? And should she be cautious at all?
Yeah, I think he does have the potential to go all the way just because all this stuff we're seeing now, Becca didn't know when they were filming. So none of that, is relevant to her decision. And I think she does like him a lot. I think he's her type, and I think he comes off really confident, and I think he'll stick around for a while.
She loves him because he showed up in the minivan, and I do too, for the exact same reason. All right, it wouldn't be a proper recap without the villain we all love to hate, Jordan.
I think he's a villain. I'm obsessed with Jordan.
Well, in a great way. He's in a glorious way. He's a villain. Colton is fed up by Jordan, and he has let the whole world know about it, including Jordan himself. Take a look at this.
Do you guys not think that I'm tired of being approached by people in the house?
Because I've lost all respect for you. Rightfully
Fantastic. Cool. Good deal.
You're walking around in golden undies.
If you saw my one-on-one, you'll understand why.
Bro, you're painting a target on your back.
Okay.
You're going about a situation.
First off, don't ever call me again, okay? Because that's just that. You talk about disrespect and you just call me a.
Just calm down.
You understand that? Do you understand that?
You're a clown right now.
You just called me a and you talked about respect.
I'm tired of being in this situation with clowns.
I don't even know what they're saying because it's all bleeped out.
I know.
This all stems from Jordan walking around the group date in gold skin-tight underwear. Brandi, do you think Becca is actually amused by his antics? Is he confidently funny, or like Colton says, just a clown?
Honestly, I think probably a little bit of both. I think he's so ridiculous and over the top. There's no way he's not being that way for TV. And I do think Becca thinks he's funny. I think he's hilarious. I mean, we all love watching him. He's great TV. And I think he's probably funny to keep her out.
I have never been more convinced that someone's being kept around by producers than this guy, because I've never seen her connect with him other than laugh at him.
I think it's like a female that you like when guys are like not afraid to be dorky.
I agree with that, but anyway, Colton is all about coming to. I'm a fan, but he's being kept around. Colton is all about coming to Becca's rescue in the situation. He says that he's one of her good guys, but we know all about his romantic past with Tia, which has been exposed. What do you think about Colton's good guy declaration? Do you trust his intentions? For me, I feel like I'm turning on him a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, what do you think, Brandi?
Yeah, this is the first time I've really ever seen him be emotional about anything. Even with Tia, he was very calm about it all, very level-headed. I don't know. To me, I feel like the Tia thing is being blown a little bit out of proportion. Like, they DM'd a little bit, maybe they hung out once, and I think everyone's blowing it out of proportion. But at the same time, I think it's fair that Becca's hesitant. I mean, Tia is one of her friends. So I do think Colton's a good guy, though.
I like Colton, but he's becoming more the alpha, and as that happens, I'm kind of like,
Starting to turn.
Yeah.
All right, we have to talk about Becca's one-on-one with Wills. Poor Wills had his date right after the John Blanc drama. What do you think about their connection? And will Wills be sticking around? But if he doesn't, he could maybe be Bachelor potential. I saw a lot of people tweeting about that last night.
Yeah, my friend Abby actually just texted me that she wants Wills to be the Bachelor. I think he's fantastic. He's actually one of my favorites. I don't know that I see as much of a romantic connection with him and Becca. I think she likes him on a friendship level a lot. I mean, he's comforting, he's sweet. I mean, what's not to love? I just don't know if I see the chemistry there, but I hope he sticks around and that she gives it a shot, because I think he's fantastic.
He's one of the most endearing sort of potential
he's
suitors.
adorable.
And
like walking up that hill, he could barely walk. Like, he kept falling in the snow. I thought it was so cute.
Nothing more adorable than clumsy.
Yeah,
really.
It's actually
So next week we saw the tease. We're going to Vegas. There's a 2-on-1 with David and Jordan, the most obvious 2-on-1 ever. Chris R seems to go off the deep end. What are you most excited to see? Any top picks at this point as well for you?
Between these two, I don't know. I can kind of see Jordan winning this one out. Whenever someone goes into a 2-on-1, usually the person that thinks they're above the other person is the one that ends up leaving because they take it too far. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I kind of want Jordan to stick around.
I want Jordan to stick around.
The show wants Jordan to stick around, and they pull out the old bed in the desert thing. I don't know if you saw that. Middle of nowhere, there's a bed. They're going to leave somebody there. It's like the what they did with Ashley Allen. Yeah, in the Badlands or whatever. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Brandi. I love that you're such a super fan of the show. It's amazing to talk to you about it. You guys, make sure to tune into The Bachelorette every Monday night on ABC.
All right, let's look at what Twitter's saying about the MTV Awards. A lot of people, commenting about what they saw on the show and the carpet and everything else. And we've been asking about favorite looks.
Kardashians.
When Stranger Things won over Grownish, Riverdale, and 13 Reasons Why. Not having it.
No. Brad acceptance speech at the MTV Movie Awards. Like, I thought I already loved him. Y'all, and the crying emojis, he's amazing.
Yeah, he was great. Loved him in that. All right, we'll be asking you a new question of the day tomorrow, but now we move on to this. We are joined now by the radio host, the youngest ever inductee into the National Radio Hall of Fame, stand-up comic, author, basically doing everything. Please welcome Bobby Bones, walking in live. Here he comes. comes the man who's been waiting in the wings through our entire Bachelorette.
Thanks for joining us. Hello.
So good to talk to you.
I've literally been standing 1 inch right there. I couldn't be any closer to the sides of their head.
Yeah. Now here we all are. All right.
Okay, so you have a lot going on. You have a new book out titled Fail Until You Don't.
There it is.
Which you detail a lot of different failures in here, but if you had to pick one, what's like the hardest thing you've had to encounter that you've overcame?
Like in my life? My career would be I got fined $1 million.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. Yeah, and I'm lucky I didn't get fired. That was a big one. In my personal life, I'm still fighting that one. I'm still single and trying to figure that one out.
Well, let's get more detailed then. What's the toughest obstacle you think you've had to overcome in the world of country music specifically?
Well, being accepted.
Right.
Because I'm not what you typically look at and go, oh, look at that cowboy hat and belt buckle. Now, I did grow up in Arkansas, but I've worked in hip hop, alternative pop. I've done all the formats, and when they said, where do you want to go? I wanted to go and work in country, and actually for that to be where I built. And so it was tough for me, especially at first, because I don't play the part of what is thought of to be country.
Right, yeah, and it's very close to that community.
But
and
I
everything
am.
else.
I'm the consumer. I'm the person who loves the music. I'm the person who fights for the new artist. And so now it's changed. It has changed.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, were you surprised, because you are a consumer of country music, were you surprised that that was the reaction to you coming onto the scene?
No, that's generally the reaction that I go anywhere.
Really?
Just say anything you do.
Do you think it's because you're just polarizing? Why is that?
Am I polarizing?
I don't know. I don't think
lovely.
you're that polarizing.
I think I went into an environment where there weren't a lot of nerdy-looking dudes who didn't wear cowboy hats and belt buckles speaking for the format. And then all of a sudden, I was the guy in everyone's eyes. And so I represented something that didn't exist yet. So I think that was, since he's not one of us, does that mean we're in trouble? And it didn't mean that. There's room for everyone there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it seems like it's getting better.
Well, it's gotten, and has gotten. I mean, you've got this hugely successful show, and man, everyone's on board, loving it.
The mantra of this book in your career is fight, grind, repeat. So what exactly does that mean to you?
So fight is just finding your goal. Grind is all the little things that you do that no one ever sees. There is absolutely no glamour in the grind. And then when it doesn't work, which it doesn't, most times it doesn't work,
right.
then it's just a repeat. And I wrote the book just so people wouldn't feel alone. I had written a book about my life and it had done pretty well. And I wasn't gonna write another book. And I did a TED Talk about winning by losing and how the most successful people are often those that have failed the most. That's the common denominator. And so that's where the book came from.
So you write about your life, and as you said, you've opened up before about that, and meeting your father as an adult, right, for the very first time, and all of the different things that happened with that. That specific encounter, what's the biggest takeaway now for you as you look back on sort of what that moment has meant in your life to meet your father?
In the first chapter of the book, I wanted to show that I was still learning. Here I am giving advice, but I wanted to show that I'm still learning as I'm doing it. And so I met my biological father for the first time since I was 4 or 5 years old. And so, my mom had me when she was 15, and he was 17. And so for me, I had villainized him so much. When I finally was able to meet him, I realized we're all just a bunch of screw-ups. And he regrets it. I regret how I've handled the entire situation between us. And so it was really just a learning moment for me inside of the book.
Yeah.
Now, you were a mentor on the season of American Idol. Was the biggest surprise about the process that you weren't really expecting?
That there were people of all ages. I mean, I'm mentoring to 15-year-olds and then to 26-year-olds, And so with me, luckily, I've been able to develop a lot of acts in country music and help them grow. But, you have to actually approach kids different than adults.
Right,
and these are people that have never been in the process either. So it was exciting to work with people so green and then actually see them grow.
And I was saying to you before, my wife and I watched it, and you did such a great job connecting on a very heart level with a lot of these contestants. You could tell that they were just soaking up every word, and there was a connection made. You also interacted with the Seacrest quite a bit. Did you learn? Was there any pre-show ritual that guy has that you now have picked up on?
Well, to be fair, I know Ryan.
Okay, right.
Ryan's the best at what that I've ever seen do what he does. He is absolute the best. And Ryan had to sign on for me just to come on the show because Ryan runs everything.
Yeah.
So
including the world, not just American Idol.
my pre-show ritual was just thanking Ryan. And then thanking Jesus, and then going
on to do the show, and then away we go, right?
Some people would kind of say that you're like a, Seacrest country version. I mean, first of all, do you agree with that at all?
I mean, what are we, both dorky white guys? Okay.
So, very talented.
Extremely talented, incredibly successful.
And listen, he works hard, really hard. I think Ryan has his niche. Ryan's very wholesome and lovable, and I am a bit polarizing at times because I have huge opinions. So I'm happy that people call me Orion, because Orion's, as good as it gets.
But he's a very buttoned-up guy. If he were going to cross over into the country world, what do you think would be the hardest thing for him to go full-blown country?
He would just buy the country world. He would just own it all, and then make sure they all loved him. So
very good answer.
Really great.
So speaking of Idol, you had the very first interview with Carrie Underwood after she opened up about the facial injury and everything that she went with. We covered that a lot. I mean, it was a huge headline. Talking to her about that whole thing and looking at it in hindsight, do you think was that a big deal made out of nothing here?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a pretty, in her mind, a pretty bad injury that it took a while to come back from. And luckily for me, I have a relationship with Carrie that we've performed together. We know each other. We live close to each other in Nashville, so we do have a bit of history, at least in friendship. And so when it was time for her to come back, she was like, hey, I want to come on the show because I feel like you'll give me the most fair representation. And I would ask about what people wanted to know, but I wouldn't just go right for it and ask in a way that was going to chase headlines.
How's she doing now post all of that?
I think she's great. I think that the thing for her was, I think she feels that she looks different, because she wrote that in her letter out to the fans, especially early on. She said, I may not look the same. And she had, some reconstruction under her face, but she looks wonderful. I don't know that I would have even noticed anything.
That's right. I think 9 out of 10 people thought that, and that's maybe why it felt like, wait, was this a lot about?
But as someone who's had an injury to your face, you notice it,
right.
and then you do think you look differently, even if it's just slight. So I kind of understood.
And look, the fans have come around her. I mean, obviously there's a lot of support for her and understanding that, wow, that's a lot for personally for someone to go through.
I mean, Carrie's awesome, and I told her when she came in that I expected this crazy facial difference in her, and had she not said something about it, I just don't think I would have noticed. She said she puts a lot of makeup on, but again, I was sitting 3 feet from her, and it really wasn't anything crazy. But you're right. If something, it's just, if you ever get a cut inside of your mouth, it feels humongous.
Right.
Yeah, when it's your face that everyone sees.
And look, okay, Carrie, hugely successful female country artist. You're taking a very big interest in that, and you're launching. Tell us about the radio show featuring country music, female artists. What's the deal here?
Females are just underrepresented in country music. There's a culture problem where they're not being developed at the rate they should be. For whatever reason, you can blame a trend of country music in the past 10 years. So what I can do is I talk to millions of people every day. And so I actually can go, hey, I'm just going to do a show of female artists. And that's what I'm going to do. There really isn't a lot of thought behind it, except for I think there are a lot of females that aren't getting heard that deserve at least the right to be heard. I don't think every song should be #1, but I think everything should be fair. Every song should be heard the same. And so all I'm doing is trying to bring awareness to the fact that, hey, there's some good stuff here that people aren't listening to.
So is it just their music?
Amazing.
Is it female hosts? Are you hosting it?
So that's a great question. So at first it was going to be just the music, and I thought, well, I'm just a dude with the ding dong playing a bunch of songs. So what I'm also going to do is bring in some female radio hosts as well around the country. Now, I'm in Nashville, so I actually get to have the artists in studio, but I want the female radio personalities to actually come and satellite in from where they're doing it as well.
Great
That's
idea.
incredible. Do you have any names yet, or people that you would love to have on board?
I can't. They don't even know yet, so if I said it right now,
don't ruin it.
They would kill me.
Let's talk about this. You get really real about relationships in the book, your struggles and missteps when it comes to that. What would you say, where does it fall apart for you when it comes to relationships?
I don't know. I think that my inability to commit, love.
Wait, inability to love?
To know love. I don't listen. I don't know. Listen, I've been through a lot of therapy.
You've been in love?
No, I've never said that word.
You've never said I love you?
No, never.
Really?
Well,
oh my gosh.
Not even to but I wasn't raised in a household where that was said.
Yeah.
Like I said, I came from a house that struggled, and so it's not like I had a relationship with my mom or my dad. My mom was a drug addict and alcoholic, and she died in her 40s, and so there really wasn't this loving. So I just don't know it. I'm trying to learn it right now. Like right now, I'm learning it as much as I've ever learned it. So the only thing I've ever said I love you to is my dog, and I loved that dog, and I would tell him all the time. And I dedicated my book to him when he died a few months ago, but I dedicated my book to him. And so that's a good step for me. I can actually feel inside the ribcage there's something that's
it's there.
Just a little bit.
What's the most helpful piece in moving you in that direction? What's the thing? Is there something that's really helping you the most in getting there? in terms of
going to therapy,
Yeah,
talking to people who tell
okay.
me,
All right.
they've seen broken people before.
Yeah,
I'm not
right,
the
of
first
course.
one. I mean, that's a big deal.
Let's finally kind of hit on this. You famously dated Lindsay Ell, and that was something that everyone knows and you've talked about, everyone's talked about. You guys are in a small world and country. We see, like, even you had like big party at, for Memorial Day, I believe she was there and everything. Does it make it difficult to manage those types of social situations when you're in the same circle, even out of the spotlight?
I think, well, one, we were friends for a couple of years before we dated. Yeah. And then two, you can either be awkward with it or not, and I choose to be awkward with everything. So it's all even. Yes. So everything's even and equal.
Okay.
She's awesome. I'm rooting for her. We're not together anymore, and we haven't been for 6 or 7 months at this point. But I also want people to know that she's awesome and amazing and a good friend, and we have a lot of the same friends. So I don't want to lose all my friends because I'll pick her.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you divorce and you have to split friends, I would lose all the friends.
You lose all the friends. Okay, good. So it's best to keep it on.
I'm no treat to hang around.
Real quick, biggest country star up and coming that we need to keep an eye on.
Brandon Ray.
All right, Brandon
Last
Ray.
name R-A-Y.
We're looking. Yeah, keep an eye out.
Lottie, thank you so much. Also, thank you for being so open here and in your books. I think that a lot of people can relate to all that stuff.
Oh,
So thank you.
I hope so. And I hope people find something. And there are a lot of country stars and even Chris Stapleton, Walker Hayes, Chip Eston, they all wrote about their biggest failures. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Governor Charlemagne the God's one of my dearest friends who works, does hip hop in New York,
City, yeah.
and he writes in it as well.
All right, fail until you don't. Check out the book.
Check it out.
And coming up tomorrow, Jurassic World star Bryce Dallas Howard and her Oscar-winning dad, Ron Howard, you may have heard of him, open up about keeping family a priority. We love them. Plus,
You're gonna be here?
We're on this very show. And plus, adorable pup Manny, the Frenchie, and his dog mom Amber Chavez. Yeah, Manny's gonna be here too. They're giving us some tips on how to be an Instagram sensation. I'm gonna be writing it all down.
All right, thank you so much for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from younger stars Miriam Shore and Molly Bernard.
Bye, guys.
Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Miriam Shore.
And I'm Molly Bernard. And this is One Last Thing. The last time I was starstruck was last Tuesday night at the premiere for Hotel Artemis. I've like met Sterling K. Brown a few times, but every time I meet him, I make him hug me. But I tell him with my eyes and my hands, and he's like, Molly, do you need a hug? And I'm like, yes, definitely. always starstruck.
I was starstruck by Pat Kiernan from New York One. I was at a premiere, and there were all kinds of famous people, and I was like, out of my way, Diane Keaton, and famous person, Pat Kiernan, and he was just terrified. But then I made him my friend. He likes me now.
Last song stuck in my head was a song I made up called When I'm Putting on My Lotions and Ablutions. It goes, lotions and ablutions, and ointments and treatments and lotion. It's that.
Cameron's gonna be singing that all day.
I know, Camera.
The last song that I got stuck in my head, my 8-year-old sang Smells Like Teen Spirit at her talent show. And now my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old run around the house singing it all the time, and that is a damn good song, Nirvana. I can't stop singing it.